Check it out, guys. We're gonna show you the world's first video on how to do a dirty pour on an actual countertop surface. You don't wanna miss this. Obviously, countertops, we can't move them and tilt them to get that resin to flow. So to combat that, we're gonna be using extra resin, and we're also gonna be taping our edges to keep that resin from flowing over until we're ready for it. So we'll pull that tape half an hour, 45 minutes after we've applied it. So as you can see right here, I have everything set up. I have my epoxy part A. Here's my part B for one of the jugs, and then we have all of our colors we're gonna use with the powders already in them. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add the hardener to one of the jugs. We're gonna mix that up really good. Then we're gonna pour it out into each of these, mix the metallics in really well. And then instead of just going and dumping out on the counter like you typically would, we're gonna do a thin coat of clear epoxy over the whole countertop surface. That way there's no surface tension and this resin can kind of flow a lot easier. So that's kind of how we're doing it. So I'm gonna start by adding our first hardener to our first bucket here. And then I'll have Justin refill this at 40 ounces for the next batch that we're gonna make. So now we're gonna mix this up. All right, so now we're gonna take our mixed resin and we're gonna start filling up our colors here. So I'll have Alex finish mixing these for me. Obviously, it's good to have someone helping you when you're doing something really intricate like this. So I'm gonna start pouring out my base of just clear. That way we don't have surface tension when we're pouring out our dirty pour. And we'll just do it just like we show you guys. We'll just pour it down the middle. Again, this isn't gonna be a thick coat. This is just to minimize surface tension and to let that dirty pour kind of flow out and level out everywhere. So again, we're just gonna start spreading this out. And this is clear going on to black, so it's gonna look like it's pigmented epoxy, black epoxy, but it's not. Sweet. So we'll finish this up. So now we're gonna take, we'll just use the same container. We're gonna start pouring all our colors into here, kind of randomly. And then I'm gonna have Alex, while I'm messing with this first dirty pour, he's gonna start mixing up my second batch. So again, it's good to have someone helping you when you're doing this much mixing. All right, so we don't wanna mix this. It's gonna look the best if we just dump all our colors in and we go pour it out. So this is our first batch of the dirty pour. All right, so I got the majority pushed back. I'm not worried about moving this yet because it still has a lot to self-level. We poured a lot out, so we'll dump the rest out and then we'll go around and make sure everything gets coated, you know, by pushing it with air, because obviously we can't tilt the countertop, so this is the best way to do it. All right, so Alex made the next batch. We had extra since we're not doing a clear coat first like we did on the first pour, so we added some to our other containers, and we're just gonna mix those up. And then we'll get some other people in here mixing as well, so we can get this going quickly. All right, so now we're gonna do the same thing we just did. We're gonna pour all these colors in here randomly. Since we don't have a lot of black anywhere else, I'm just gonna blend these in just a little bit, just with my finger. Try to get rid of these black spots real simple. Again, the less we gotta touch this, the better it's gonna look. All right, so it's been about 40 minutes. We're gonna pull the tape now, and we're gonna let that resin flow over. We're gonna take just a cheap little chip brush. You can even use a roller, but we want to get rid of the surface tension, right? So this will never get filled in unless we have a lot flowing over. And since we don't have a lot, we want to brush this in so it can evenly flow. So I'll just dip my brush in some resin so it's not going on dry. And I'll just start brushing this on. Don't worry about smearing the colors, because it'll help it run over and flow over. And it'll bring the top all the way down to the face. We just want to get rid of that surface tension, so. All right, so it's been about a half an hour, 45 minutes since we pulled the tape and let that resin flow over. All these edges look really good. There's really only one spot we need to hit, and it's this corner right here. So what I'm gonna do, take a chip brush, and I'm gonna just get some product on the brush, and we're just gonna lightly put some resin on there. Now, since the resin's starting to set up, we wanna make sure we go with the flow of the design. So I don't wanna go crossways now, because it's not really running over as much. And then the last thing we're gonna do is scrape the bottom drip. So I'll take just a paint stick. You can really use anything. And we're just gonna run this on the bottom, and that's gonna get all the drips off. And it's still a little fluid, so you might, depending on where you're at in the process, have to come back again, another 20 minutes, half an hour, and then re-scrape your bottom edges. But eventually this will set up enough to where it doesn't drip on the bottom anymore, and then you pull the tape the next day and you're good to go. Guys, we're gonna take this super high gloss surface and we're gonna dull it down into a super low sheen matte finish using our WB urethane matte top coat. If you guys are finding yourself sanding, wet sanding, finer grit to get that matte sheen, you guys are using the wrong product, the wrong system. Get our urethane top coat matte, and you're gonna see how simple it is to go from a high gloss sheen to a super low sheen. All we're gonna do, dip and roll. We're using a 3/8 nap roller. It's already been de-shedded. And we're just gonna apply it like we apply all our other top coats. Thanks for watching, everyone. Fun project. Comment below, let us know what colors you guys want to see on our next dirty pour on a countertop surface. Also, I want to tell you about our store, public store that's launching soon, where you can buy single items of any of our products. So super, super cool. Stay tuned for that. Don't forget to subscribe. Let us know what you guys thought of the video, and we'll see you next time.